Now I'm going to take you to my hometown in McAllen, Texas. A border town where the music never stops and the nights stretch on forever. But one night in 1979, something walked onto the dance floor that should never have been there. On Good Friday, when the faithful were meant to be in prayer, the devil came to dance. It was April 13th, 1979, Good Friday, the most sacred day in the Christian calendar, a time for reflection, prayer, and staying home with the family. But for one young woman in McAllen, the pull of the weekend was stronger than tradition. She was beautiful and headstrong, and she was tired of her parents' warnings about going out during Holy Week. Against their pleas, she put on her best dress and headed to the hottest spot in town, Boccaccio 2000, or as everyone down there in McAllen calls it, Boccacios. It was the kind of place where disco balls cast rainbow lights across packed dance floors, where the music thumped until dawn, and where anything could happen. The club was packed that night despite, or maybe because of the religious significance of the date. The DJ, just 16 years old, was spinning the latest hits when she walked in. She danced with friends, laughed, drank, living her best life, exactly like her parents warned her not to do. But then, across the crowded floor, she noticed him. He was impossibly handsome, perfectly dressed. His suit was tailored to perfection, his hair slicked back, his smile magnetic. He moved through the crowd like he owned the place. When he asked her to dance, she didn't hesitate. How could she? He was everything a young woman could want in a dance partner. At first, it was perfect. He was smooth, confident, leading her across the floor with elegance that made other couples stop and stare. The music seemed too slow just for them, but as the song played on, something changed. The air grew thick, the temperature dropped, and then someone noticed his feet. Where polished dress shoes should have been, there were hooves. Black cloven hooves that clicked against the dance floor with each step. The young woman looked down and screamed, but it was too late. His grip tightened, his perfect smile twisted into something else entirely. And as other dancers backed away in horror, she couldn't let go. Now, what happens next depends on who's telling the story. But every version ends the same way. Badly. Some say she couldn't stop dancing, that the devil held her in his embrace as she spun faster and faster, her feet bleeding, her heart giving out from exhaustion. Witnesses claim they saw her collapse on the dance floor, still moving to music only she could hear. When paramedics arrived, they found no pulse, no explanation, just a young woman who had danced herself to death. Others tell a different story. They say the devil and the girl spun faster and faster until they became a blur, then disappeared in a column of sulfurous smoke. The DJ stopped the music, the lights came up, but where they had been dancing, only scorch marks remained burned until the floor. She was never seen again. But here's what makes this story different from other urban legends. There were witnesses. Real people with real names who swear they were there on that night. And if you ask anybody in McAllen, Texas of my parents' age, everyone swears they were there that night. And this is truth. DJ Nava, who was just 16 at the time, has gone on record saying he was working that night and witnessed the entire event. Other club goers from that era still tell the story decades later. Swear, if you go down to McAllen, Texas right now and you mention Boccaccio's, they will all have their own version of the story. And these are people who claim they saw the devil himself. Boccaccio 2000 was real. It existed exactly where people say it did in McAllen. My parents met at Boccaccio's. This building, it does not stand there today. And I got to tell you this, locals will point it out to you exactly where it is. And I have to tell you, not a single business has survived that area since 1979. The club was known as the most popular nightclub in McAllen during its heyday. But after that night, things were never quite the same. This wasn't just any night. It was Good Friday, the day Christians believe Jesus Christ died on the cross, and it's considered one of the most sacred and solemn days of the year, especially for a deep, deep Catholic South. Going out and partying on Good Friday isn't just rebellious, especially back then. It was seen as a spiritual, dangerous thing to do. The young woman had been warned. Her parents, her church, her community, everyone told her to stay home and pray. Instead, she chose to dance. And according to legend, the devil accepted her invitation. What's chilling is this story isn't unique to McAllen. There's variations all over of the dancing with the devil. They appear throughout Mexico and the American Southwest. I even hear that there's a story about this in a club in San Antonio. Always a young woman, always defying religious tradition, always on a holy holiday, always ending in death or disappearance. Some folklorists believe these stories serve as warnings, cautionary tales about the dangers of abandoning faith and tradition. Others wonder if there's something more to it, if these stories keep appearing because something keeps making them happen. The devil at the disco is as popular as tales as La Llorona, stories that most Valley natives can remember from their childhood. But unlike those ancient legends, this one has a date, a place, and a living witness, or a ton of living witnesses. Parents still tell this story to their children, especially around Holy Week, especially to daughters who want to go out, and they should stay home. The building that housed Boccaccio 2000 burned a long time ago. They tried to rebuild it. It burned down again. It's right there off of just south of Nolana on 10th Street. If you drive by there, you'll see that businesses struggle to stay open. I don't know. There was a Checkers there, a restaurant. It closed down. Everything closes down there. And every year on Good Friday, when the bars and clubs fill up, despite the religious significance of the date, old-timers shake their head and whisper warnings. Or, my family, we just joke around and say, we're going to go to Boccaccio's. Because in South Texas, everyone knows the story. Everyone knows what happened at Boccaccio 2000. The devil came to dance, and he's still looking for partners. Thanks for spending some time with me today. And if stories like this make you think twice about ignoring your parents' warnings, you're in the right place. Subscribe for more stories that blur the line between faith and folklore. And next time you're out on a holy night dancing with a stranger, maybe take a look at their feet first, because some dance partners never let you leave the dance floor. I'm Jorge, and this is Jorge's House of Horrors.